5 heads up. Mhm. And we're green.
Hello, people of That Beautiful Life podcast. This is Roger Bergson talking all the way from Stockholm, Sweden. A very snowy and Christmas like Sweden at the moment. I'm getting to that soon. It's episode 198. 198, close to 200, that is.
Hmm.
And of course, as always, I'm not alone. I'm not alone here. Now you can see someone maybe already sitting down there in some flickering light. Well, it's
Yes.
not flickering light. We're gonna get into that. Q, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm wonderful. I am alive. Of course.
Awake and everything.
I'm
Yeah.
awake. I'm awake. I woke up like an hour ago. I'm looking now at my phone, by the way. I'm just checking to see that the podcast is loading on YouTube properly because I'm looking at a different screen. But anyway, I've been awake for like an hour
Yeah.
and yeah, I'm just kicking back here with my laptop, sitting in a bed, um, recording the podcast, you know.
Oh, beautiful. Hmm.
Mhm.
And it's a bit of a different setting. I don't recognize things where you are at right now compared to like the week before.
Yeah, the week before I had like a whole film studio behind me. I think that was
Exactly.
the whole thing was I had this whole film studio kind of thing behind me because I was staying at my
Yeah.
cousin's. So coming back to TT, um, you know, as you guys, those of you who've been following the episodes regularly and so forth would know, I'm currently in Trinidad and Tobago, and coming back to TT meant that I wasn't going to be staying in the same location. I've been moving around essentially,
Yeah.
and I've so far been like I now my plan when I came over was just to spend about 2 weeks. I had a few things I needed to get done, so I was like, based on every all the information I had prior to my trip, 2 weeks was enough time. But at the same time, you never know in life, sometimes you plan for things and you know the saying, you plan for something and life happens.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, there was the plan of about this should be about 2 weeks, and for me, my extra time was like in my mind was like one extra week. So I was like, I'll go for two
Yeah.
weeks, but if all goes poorly, 3 weeks, right? Um, and worst case scenario, a month. Turns out I may be here for at least a month and a bit,
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
least a
Yeah.
month um and 2 weeks, all things considered. It's not guaranteed, it's just possible because when you're
Sure.
dealing with a couple things and that require other people, sometimes it might things might happen when you want them to.
True.
You may plan for something and think, oh, I want this to happen around this date, around this time,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and so forth. And there may be, you know, other things that will get in the way of that. And so far, it seemed like we are having a bit of that. There's a waiting and all that kind of stuff now.
Hmm.
For me, I have made the best of my situation. Thankfully and luckily, I've had wonderful people in my life who've offered to have me sort of like stay with them during my stay in Trinidad because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't, I'm not in any permanent resident. I am a technically a permanent resident of Trinidad because I'm Trinidadian, I have Trinidadian citizenship and everything like that. But being away for so many years, I don't really have any permanent location that I feel grounded in. Now I could go stay with my mom, but it's a difficult sort of
Mm.
thing to do at this point in time. There are reasons for that. I
Yeah.
shan't
Okay.
get into.
Mm.
My mom and I are fine though. By the way, let me just put that. I saw my
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
I saw my mom last on the 4th. But yeah, we're fine. Like it's nothing to do with like our relationship with each other. It's just there are other extenuating
Other
circumstances
things. Yeah. Yeah.
that has
Mm.
resulted in me deciding. It's a decision. It's not a. I'm not forced to. I just decided that
Yeah.
I'd prefer not to.
Mm.
Um, but thankfully, I've had I'm blessed with wonderful people in my life. So, for the first, I guess 3 weeks I was here, a significant portion of that, I stayed at one of my cousins. That's where the whole film studio thing is at. And they were wonderful hosts. They took me around. I got to have a lot of Trini cuisine um, and we even planned to go to the beach, but that got cancelled because of
Aha, okay.
my mom and I made well, my mom made plans to come see me, and then those plans fell through. So the plans changed because of well plans, and this is what I mean. Like in life, like you make plans, but life happens. It's situations
Exactly.
like that, So she was supposed to come see me, and it just she started to have a pain in her feet or something like that. And because of that, she decided against coming to see me at the time when she was originally planning to. But that
Hmm.
day we had planned to go to the beach, and that changed,
Okay.
and so forth.
Hmm. I hope you
Um,
can do that another day. I mean, but it's nice to hear that you've been sort of taken care of. I mean, you have friends that have been supporting, helping you. Apparently, you have roof over your head and
mhm.
everything, And as you mentioned before, when it comes to describing the situation, I mean, this is something you can't really do much more about. It's just
Yes.
to try to make the best out of your stay and of course stay in touch with your missus and the boys and everything and
Mhm.
sooner or later you will be back also home. I say home for you now, but in
Yeah.
UK, right?
Mhm.
So it's gonna be fine, but I can understand that it becomes a bit like okay, yeah,
Mhm.
I thought and yeah,
It is
but
a it is a
it is
waiting
hard when
game.
things are, yeah, when things are not in our own hands when it takes to being able to take your decisions or make decisions.
Mhm.
But fingers crossed it's gonna go well and everything. But with that said, apparently you have been moving around, so I guess the week includes that when it comes to what you have been
Yeah.
doing, right?
So let's see. This week has been
Yeah, what have you been up to, my friend?
so
Like
much. Let's see. So,
packing, unpacking again. Yeah.
um, actually, to be honest, I have not been doing a lot of packing.
Nah, you're traveling
Um,
light, I guess. So,
I'm not traveling light. That's the other thing too.
oh, you aren't okay.
No. So I wish I was traveling light, but unfortunately I am not.
Okay.
So I've got a small suitcase and a backpack. That's
Mm-hmm.
primarily my travel gear. Like everything in those
All
two
right.
things, that's me. That's all I need to get around and do everything I need. My laptop, all that kind of stuff fits in those things. And then I also have a bigger suitcase. The bigger suitcase, that's like
Ah.
my checked-in luggage. That is actually filled with things for friends and family. So
Aha.
the
Okay.
wonderful
Yeah.
people that spoil me with their kindness, that is essentially what is all that stuff is I've got a few stuff I brought back, and
Yeah.
I've bought some things for some friends that asked me to bring certain things for them, and I've bought some for others, and then I've got stuff in there now to take back to the UK for friends and family in the UK who've asked me to bring back stuff for them. So
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
essentially, I've got two suitcases, a small one, a large one, and my backpack, and that's my
Mm-hmm.
luggage. Uh, Ideally, I'd love to leave the big suitcase somewhere that is not with me. That's
Yeah.
ideally, because it's just stuff for other people. But I think at
Right.
this point in time, I may have to hold on to it because
Yeah.
there is one item in it that is actually for Chris, and that is a
Oh.
monitor.
Okay. Yeah.
So, Chris told me about a couple weeks ago, and a few weeks ago when I told him I was gonna visit Trinidad, he told me that his monitor wasn't working. Because I asked him,
Oh.
I was
Okay.
like, hey, is there anything you need? And Chris is he's such a nice dude in the sense that he'll tell you no. Like, he will need something
Yeah.
and he'll be like, nah, it's fine. I don't need anything. I'm
Yeah.
good. I'll buy one at the end of the month or some kind of silly thing like that. So he's the kind of person that he doesn't. he won't ask you for anything.
Mm.
He's very like I can sort it out. I'll work, I'll save up my money and I'll buy it. That's kind of Chris. But um for me it's like nah man, like I've got like three monitors and one of yours isn't working. Just take one of mine. So
Oh,
so
okay.
I
Yeah.
I took one of my monitors off the stand. I couldn't put the stand in the suitcase because it fitted in the suitcase fine, but it was too
Mm.
heavy. Um, so I removed it and put it in and left it back in at home. But I brought the monitor, so he's gonna have to like get a mount or something like a thing,
Yeah,
which you can
right.
get those on Amazon. But for the most part,
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
initially
You know.
he can just lean it on a wall or something for now, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah, yeah.
when he's able to, he'll get one from Amazon and he can.
You can have one of those, for example, like, on the desk, like with a
Mhm,
small arm,
mhm.
so you can move it a bit here and there. That's one option. Or actually mount it on the wall in front of you if you have your desk towards the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
So, there's options. There's options. Gotta be fine.
I'll be
But by the
honest.
way,
Mhm.
sorry. Yeah, yeah. You can tell me. I just was just curious. Have you been planning when to meet Chris?
Yeah, so I think I will be seeing Chris in. I don't want to say the date because I don't really like I don't really want people knowing how my movements are going,
No, no, no.
but I will be seeing Chris sometime soon. Let's just put it that way.
Sure.
The
Sounds
goal
good.
is I'm not leaving Trinidad without and Tobago without seeing Chris. So
No, no. Yeah.
essentially, Chris and I will
I
meet
was
up.
expecting that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Chris knows when I will see him because I've already spoken to Chris.
Good.
You know, my missus says too much info.
That was early on. Hi, by the way, Miss A. Hope you're fine over there in the UK.
I I
Yeah.
think that's probably wake up head for me more or less. Like I'm not even sure what's too much info for me right now at this moment. Anyway, that
Nah.
being said, um, yeah. So I've
Yeah.
got a monitor for Chris, so I've got to give that to him and so forth.
Mm.
Um, but if I had to go through my week, let's see. The week began, I was at my cousin's, got up to some stuff. Um, then I had my birthday on, what was it Tuesday was my birthday, wasn't it? Monday.
Mm.
Monday was my birthday.
Monday it must have been. Yes. And when we're getting to that, this is where I step in. I was waiting for this moment. This is a moment when it comes to the relationship between me and Q, and also the tradition overall. This is also something I actually do in my live stream. If there's a viewer that have had his or her birthday, then I gotta sing. I gotta sing. And I have to do it now. I have to do it now. You just have to take this, guys. I just have to cleanse my throat a bit with some tea. Sorry. Burp, 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 burp. Mm. There we go. Dear sir, I hope you had a good Monday. I hope you had a good birthday. And with that, I want to add to it by, yeah, giving you this little musical moment. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Q. Happy birthday to you. Well, there you go.
Well
Yeah, my
done.
dear friend. Yeah, I hope even though if you're traveling, I hope you got. Did I ask if you got a cake? I think I
I
dreamt that I
think you
asked that.
did. I
I,
think
I
you sent
did.
I think you sent me a voice note on the day to wish me happy birthday, and I
I
think you
did.
asked.
WhatsApp, and then also I think I wrote something on Facebook. I believe.
Yes, definitely. I need to respond to people on Facebook. I'm one of those people every year when I get birthday greetings, I go into Facebook and I thank everyone who wishes me happy birthday. I haven't gotten to do that because, well, I've been moving around, so I haven't really been in a stationary location to just like pull up my laptop and go through the best wishes and thank everyone for their birthday wishes.
No.
So I do need to do that actually. I do need to go in because I do it every year. It's kind of like birthday tradition to me,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Um, but
It
yeah,
usually feels good to do that. I know
mhm.
what you mean. It's nice, when
It's
people
nice to thank
people
people,
do
for being
remember.
so kind and finding time in their day to like wish you a happy birthday.
Yeah.
I think it's nice.
Yeah.
So I do that.
Mm.
It's just
Mm.
it's one of my things that I like doing. Outside of that, um, I
Because that
think
was the beginning of the week, right?
that was the
Monday, and
beginning of the
then yeah,
week.
yeah.
So Monday started off, and on that day I had some. I met up with my mom, and we had a couple errands to run. So I was up and down with her in Port of Spain. It was hot. Like, oh my God,
Mm.
it was hot. When I tell you, Raj, the weather was, it was brutal. Like, absolutely brutal. Um, but in the end, I managed to survive. I didn't melt.
Okay.
I didn't melt in the sunny Trini weather. I was great. Then I got back to my cousins after that, and I was at my cousins still at that point in time. No, I was not. I had moved to my friend Karen's, who is one of my
Mm-hmm.
closest friends, and I was staying with him and his family. So he's got a family of I think it's seven, five kids, him and his wife, right? And his older son doesn't live with him at the moment. He sort of like comes and goes. But the rest of his
Okay.
kids live with him, and they were awesome hosts. Karen is always busy. He's always working. He's a chef, kind of like Chris. So
Okay.
he's always busy, like always busy. But at the same time, he's like, you know, when you have there's some friends in life that are just like, they're always there for you. Like they always have your back no matter what. You know, Karen is one of those guys. Like you could, the world could be coming to an end, and you say like, Karen, I need you to fight with me to like save us. You know, he'll be there in the trenches, like fighting to save
Mm.
us. You know, he's that kind of mate. And so staying
Nice.
with Karen, so Karen was like, when I told him like I'm gonna have to move again, he's like, why don't you just come sit with me? I was like,
Oh, that's nice. That's good.
you know, I didn't think about that. He's like, what do you mean you don't think about that? He's like, bro, like your family, come on, like if you need you, if you want to stay somewhere, just come on over, you know. So
Oh,
I was like,
beautiful.
yeah, it makes some sense. That's right. You know, and so I did. So I went over to his, and his kids are so vibrant and lively. If I felt like I was with my kids again, which was a good and a bad thing at the same time. I would say
Oh, I can
um
imagine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
so
Mm.
the good thing is that they're lovable.
Reminder.
They're so
Yeah.
lovable. They got full of energy. They want my attention, and you know, like because you know when you have like an uncle that visits, especially if it's like a cool uncle. I'm the cool uncle. You know, I've got like
Yeah, right.
I'm into gaming. I've got all the cool gear, all that kind of stuff. What nephew or niece isn't gonna want to hang out with me? I mean, come on. They're just like, oh my god,
Exactly.
he is the coolest thing ever. We need him, you know. Um, so especially his boys, um, they were like, uncle this, uncle that, uncle this. So he's got twins, and the twins are about 10, and they're just like all over. And then he's got a youngest. His youngest is he's actually my godson,
Hmm.
and he was also like just he was climbing everywhere. He would climb on top of me. He'll sit down. He would have his phone in his hand watching stuff, and or he'll just come and lay down on top of me and fall asleep, or you know just get comfortable and stuff like that. And I'd pick him up and spin him around, and he really liked that when I was like flipping him over and doing all that. You know, little kids love that kind of stuff.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah,
you toss them around and they're like, yes, this is it. This is life. This is peak living right
yeah.
here. Turn me
Yep.
upside down again. Let me do that thing. You know. So
Yeah.
um and then just with his daughter we just would chat about like life because his daughter's in uni, so we talk about like school and travel and stuff like that,
Yeah.
um and so his family were wonderful, and the whole time I was there, him and his wife were just like constantly just like feeding me. And this is the thing. This is something that I think it's a Trini thing as well. Every friend I've met up with since I've been here has fed me. So every friend or family member. Because when I left from by my cousin, I went over to a friend of mine's, who we've been friends from since secondary school. His name is Jay,
Oh. Mm,
and Jay's just one of the coolest dudes ever. He's a
mm.
musician, I should say like a music producer. I think I've told you about Jay
Yeah,
before actually. He's the one on YouTube
exactly.
who makes all this stuff.
That's him. That's him. Because when you said Jay, I was like, wait, isn't that? Him? Like that? Yeah. Okay, cool. Nice. Nice, nice.
So he
I
lives
I
in,
know who is. Yeah,
you know
exactly.
Jay exactly. So
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
lives in a similar area to my cousin. Like they're not
Mm-hmm.
too far apart, you know. So I ring up Jay I think a couple days before, and Jay's like I'm like, mate, what, no, I think I called him, and I called him from the Trini number that I have, and he was like, wait, he's like, I was like, do you know who you're talking to? He was like, yes, I think. So I was like, who do you think it is? He's like, Q? I was like, yeah, it is. So
Ah,
he's like, I had to wonder because this is a Trini number. And I was like, because I'm in Trinidad. He's like, what? He's like,
wow.
so we had this moment, I told him about what was going, like, my situation, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I said, hey, want to meet up? And he's like, yeah, man. Like, he's like, I'm not home right now, but let's make arrangements. We ended up meeting up the day after. And so I went over to his. He showed me his place. His place is amazing. It is amazing. He introduced me to his missus, and we just caught up. We just chatted about life and a bunch of stuff, like things that have changed over the years,
Mm.
and all that kind of stuff. And then he was like, "Are you hungry?" And I was like, I'm assuming when someone asks me the question, "Are you hungry?" I'm thinking like they're going in their fridge, they're gonna pull out something and like a sandwich or something. And he's like, he's like, "You hungry?" I was like, "Yeah, I could eat." That's my response. I'm like, I could eat. It's not like yes, no. It's like I could eat. It's like I'm not
Yeah,
that.
right.
I'm not like I'm hungry. It's more like if there is food, I'm able to eat that food. So, he's like, "Have you had gyros yet since you've been back in TT?" I was like, "No, I haven't had gyros." Which gyro is like a kebab wrap. But yeah,
Mm.
so he's like, "Have you had gyros yet?" I was like, "Nah." He's like, Let's have some gyros." So I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." He's like, "But I'm paying." He's like, "It's my treat." I said, "No, no, let me pay." He's like, "No, no, no. You're the tourist now. You're visiting. I have to treat you." So
Okay, there we go again. Yeah.
so I got the tourist treatment. I had some gyros with Jay, and we just hung out and just chilled. And we met up with Kaden after, and yeah, Kaden knows Jay as well, so we all just hung out together for a bit, caught up, and then I went over to Karen's, and then did the whole thing at Karen's, and hung out with his family. His wife bought me, um, she bought me a roti on my last day I was there, I think.
Mm.
And so I was saying to Karen, I was like, "Oh, you know what? I'm feeling hungry. We should get something to eat." And Karen was like, "Oh, well, I'll make you something." But I'm like, "Bro, you are a chef working every day in the kitchen and all that kind of stuff. And every day he's been like, he'll come in and he'll make me something." And
Oh, come on.
we were just kicking back on the sofa, just the two of us. So I was
Hmm.
like, "Hey, like, let's order something. And he's like, no, 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 we've got food in the house. I can cook you something. I was like, bro, it's your off day. We're hanging out. We're just chilling on the
Yeah.
sofa. I don't want to put you through all that. And he's like, no, it's not no hassle, man. So,
Oh.
he made me a sandwich, and but then I was like, you know what? I was like, what? He's like, I could just ask my wife to bring something when she's coming in. So I was like, yeah, that would be cool. So he calls her up and asked her to bring a roti for me, and she bought this roti for me. And again, so generous, like she brings the
Yeah.
roti, and I was like, okay, how much do I owe you? And she's like, no, 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 this is on us. And I was like, Karen, before I left, I was like, Karen, here is 40 TT. I think that should cover the roti, because I was like, I I think that's I think that's unfair. So, cause um yeah, I mean, generally speaking, like, yeah, I was like, no, they've got a whole family and stuff like that. I can't do that. So yes, I generally, but they were so generous. Like, Karen he comes in from, and the thing with Karen, he works so hard. He is such a hard worker. So he'd finish work, he'd come in, and then he has his own food truck that he sets up and he starts selling there at night. And he'd sell
Wha-
from, so let's say he finishes work at 3, he gets in maybe 4 or 5, and then he takes like he starts preparing stuff to sell in his food truck, and takes a shower, and then he goes down there and he sells till 12 midnight. So
Wow.
I'm like, bro, like which is the reason why on his off day I was like, bro, you are like, I don't want you doing crap. Like, let's sit down and play
Exactly.
Xbox,
Yeah. Rest, breathe, do nothing.
pretty much. Um, Now for his twins, I think I totally parented them in my time there. Like, and when I say that, like, I started doing stuff that I do with my boys because, him and his wife, they're busy and all that kind of stuff. So I said, um, the boys were all just sticking to me like glue. So I was like, I'm gonna like for me, they got up in the morning, they wanted to play and all this sort of stuff. I was like, play first thing in the morning. I was like, no, 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 no. It's like, let's do some maths, let's do some reading, let's do some learning and stuff like that. And at first they were not too keen on it, but I gave them some interest and incentive, proper gaming time and money and stuff like that. I incentivized them to explore their intelligence, and they're really clever kids. But I think the thing with a lot of kids these days is that they spend so much time on social media um, that and especially with how the schooling system is as well,
Yeah.
they don't actually have a long attention span. I think that's with every kid. I noticed that with my kids as well. Their attention span is pretty short. Um, so I had to sort of like try to get them to like pay longer attention to anything. And wherever I moved in the house, they would follow me. So I would leave them in the bedroom working on something, and I'd walk out to the kitchen to hang out with Karen, and they would be right there. And I'd be like, stay in one spot, like I'm just talking to your dad. And they would follow me wherever I went. They were there, and that was basically how it worked out essentially. So um, they were fun. You know, and generally speaking, yeah, that was kind of my week. It
Mm.
was just like food, and then now I am at as I say, I'm staying with a close family friends of ours, um and they've been wonderful as well. They've also brought me curry. So today I got curry again, and I've been eating some nice food, and I had like I think for dinner tonight I had a goat curry. No, goat pilau, I
Mm.
think. So I had goat pilau for dinner, with avocados and cucumbers. It was magnificent. The avocado was sublime. When I say this was a perfect avocado, it was creamy. It was delicious. Whew, the stuff of legends. Um, and
Mm.
then the for lunch I had a roti, I had a dal puri, um, and it was perfect. It had mango. You need mango in a dal puri. If you don't have a mango sauce in there, it's not a dal puri. And then I had eggs with sausages this morning with toast for breakfast. So pretty much a very solid meal day, if I do say so. And just sort of hung out with my hosts. I just sort of we hung out, we chatted, put up a Christmas tree. Um, and yeah, that's kind of been it. I'm sure there's a lot I'm missing because I've been doing so much.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah,
It's
but
mm,
it's good.
yeah,
It's not too bad, not too shabby.
yeah. No, no, as said, I mean, even though, yeah, going back to how we started the conversation,
Mhm,
excuse me, Uh, I mean, yeah, you're also here for a reason and all that stuff, and it will take some time, la di da. But at the same time, you've been taken care of. You have great friends around you. You have actually been feeded or getting food. That's nice.
mhm.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear. So, and I can also hear when you're describing this, the way you talk about it, your voice and everything. It sounds pretty okay. I can understand though it's tough again being away from family and everything, and also on the other end, I mean, your missus and everything. It's tough, waiting this long and everything. But
Mhm.
I really, yeah, I said before, thumbs, you know, yeah, the hope is there and everything. It's gonna turn out well, and so forth. So, and I also hope that you get to the beach, man. You gotta go
So
to the beach.
the beach thing is probably gonna happen when I see Chris. So
Aha, okay.
the
Yeah, all
minute
right.
that I mention the beach on the podcast, and I think what I'll do, I think for the beach one, I think for that episode, I'll take a picture of the beach and I'll make that the thumbnail.
Yeah, that
But
would be nice.
I
Yeah.
believe that will happen when I see Chris because
Mm.
living on I think one of the things that some misconceptions some people have is that on a Caribbean island you are near the beach 24/7, which is
Mm.
absolutely not true. Like
That's not the case. It depends on where you
islands
are. Yeah, yeah.
islands are much bigger than you think they are. I think for
Yeah.
most people don't realize just how big an island is. But they're much
Mm.
bigger than you think they are. And depending on where you live on an island, it's difficult to get to a beach because even if you're close enough to the ocean, like for me, if I wanted to get to the ocean, from where I am right now, it would probably take me maybe an hour to get to there, maybe 45 minutes. So it's not too far. The problem is that's not like a beach. That's going to the ocean as if I'm going to the seaport or something.
Yeah, okay.
So to get to a beach that's a nice enough beach, it's gonna take me much longer than that. Maybe about um, it may take me about 2 hours or something like that.
Ah, okay. Okay. Mm.
So when you consider that much, it's not something that you just do on a whim. It's something that you do when you actually have you actually have the time to do stuff like that. So
Mm.
yeah, generally speaking, this week has been it has been pleasant. I,
Oh, good.
you know, it has been a pleasant week. It has been interesting. It has been unique. I have had a lot of interesting experiences for this week so far, and I'm liking my week so far. I'm not. Why does
Good.
I just heard a sound like, oh, I know what that is. I heard a
What?
sound. Oh, it was WhatsApp.
Aha,
I
okay.
just while I'm listening to the episode, I'm just sharing links to the podcast to a few
Mm.
friends and family members who may want to listen to the episode and stuff like that. So I'm just sharing it there, and one of them, my older sister, just replied. So
Ah,
so
okay.
she was like, I sent her a message, and I just said pretty, which meant she saw the thing and just replied to it. But either way, that being said, my week has been that. How about you, Raj? What has been your week so
Yeah.
far?
It's been a winter wonderland. That's what it is. It's so the opposite from
Mhm.
your experiences right now, apparently, and obviously due to the climate and everything.
Mhm.
It has gone haywire over here when it comes to winter.
Mhm.
I'm not complaining though. It's really beautiful. Like
Right.
yesterday morning, since we have quite a lot of snow, I think it's more than like 20, like 25 centimeters something. So it's like
Mhm.
a winter landscape. And, when it becomes colder, the sun is, it's a clear sky and the sun like shines through the, uh, like leafless trees, and
Mhm.
it's really beautiful. It's like shimmering and it's sparkling kind of thing going on, and it's really beautiful. However, it did become really cold the other day. I think we went down to like minus 18 degrees, which is quite, it doesn't happen that often here in the south part of Sweden. Sure, I'm used to it from like when I grew up in the north part, but not
Mhm.
so much here. And as said before, it's a bit more humid here when it comes to the air and everything, so you feel it a bit more. Uh, but even so, it's been most of the days it's been like 6 to 8 minus degrees, which is pretty. It's good, it's fine. I'd rather have. I hope though, because I heard from my wife Anneli said that well, maybe today it will even go become warmer, so it's gonna go up to like 0 or even like 2 plus. And I'm
Mhm.
like, no, 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 easy now. We're close to Christmas. I want to keep this. Don't get into the plus, like sector or section of the thermo. That's not
Mhm.
gonna happen. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure. But it's been a good week. A bit
Mhm.
like, yeah, I was with I did a thing this weekend. I might have mentioned it before. That was mainly, I have to think now. Yeah, that was Sunday.
Mhm.
I've been quite busy. It's been a lot of things to do, like simultaneously, as it can be sometimes. But on
Mhm.
Sunday, I went to, it's like a yearly thing. It's called the Fitness Festival. As you know, I'm into training and stuff like that. And I had a period of time, especially in the 90s and early 2000, where I was, going to certain competitions and stuff like that, watching. I actually had a friend or two also competing.
Mhm.
But it's a big, quite big festival. The good thing is that the exhibition area, everything that is arranged, it's very close by from where we live,
Mhm.
so we can get there with the car like in 10-12 minutes, something like that. But so me and Adam was there from morning until late afternoon,
Ooh.
walking around. Yeah, actually, a friend of his, or a colleague of his from the gaming studio, showed up as well. I met him before. His name is Leon,
Mhm.
a nice guy. So we walked around. There's a big exhibition area. I think Comic Con, but fitness. Okay, so with those kind of like products and everything related to training,
Mhm.
stuff like that, and of course, yeah, the competition. So we watched some fitness and some bodybuilding competitions, and we had a good day together, fun day, I would say.
Mhm.
And after that, I was supposed to more or less immediately go out to the rehearsal place studio that we have when it comes to the band,
Mhm.
because we are close to the gig now. The concert is on Saturday, and this evening, tonight, Thursday, we're recording this on a Thursday, we will
Mhm.
have our last, rehearsal.
Mhm.
But we were supposed to, and actually, I canceled the live stream for Sunday evening so we also could, meet up. That was the only time, that five people could find the time to meet, right?
Mhm.
So we were supposed to rehearse, but just a few hours. I was sitting there watching a competition with Adam and this guy Leon, and I checked the phone and I saw in the messenger group that our guitarist was ill. He was like sick,
Mhm.
and he was sick from Friday. He waited, of course, until Sunday to say that he couldn't rehearse. But
Mhm.
that was a bit. It's not like a big thing because we are pretty well rehearsed. As I said before, we this is the like set of music and songs that we played also during
Mhm.
July this summer.
Mhm.
So it's gonna be fine. But it's the general rehearsal this evening. And we're just gonna pack a few things. For me personally, as the drummer, I just gonna bring my snare, my pedals, and some cymbals, because like at the venue where we're gonna play, there's already a kit there. We're gonna share the stage. We're gonna play first, and then there's another band after us. So it's gonna be fun, and that's gonna be on Saturday.
Ooh.
So it's cool, but it's been, yeah. I see me say, yeah, in Poland over the last 10 years it was a given that snow will fall after Christmas, but it fell just now, I guess. Yeah, exactly. It's the same here. It's kind of weird. We might have talked about this before also in the podcast, that especially, I mean, I grew up in the north part of Sweden. Granted, that meant that it was a lot of snow also before Christmas, at least when I
Mhm.
grew up, like from November at least, and forward, maybe even coming also in October. But through the years, and also moving down here in the south part of Sweden, it's not really the case. Sometimes it has been like that. I think, yeah, someone just told me, by the way, that it hasn't been snow from November as it has been now and onwards, at least up till now,
Mhm.
since 2018. Which means, as Miss A was writing here in the chat, that it most of the time you have almost like a green Christmas. You can still see the lawn, and not much snow at all, maybe some flakes here and there. And
Mhm.
then, like a week after, or around, you know, uh, New Year's Eve, there might be snow, or even after that. So with that said, I think this is good. Someone also felt, yeah, 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 sure. And someone also told me that it's a good sign when you do get like a good winter, meaning like early on, and with the snow and everything, because that
Mhm.
might indicate that there will be a good summer that follows.
Mhm.
I hope that's true. I live on the hope over here,
Dude,
up in the north. Yeah.
as a summer hater myself, yeah, I hope that it's that we have a bad summer and it's actually colder in the summer because for me personally, keep the bugs away as like, and that's one of the things that I want to say. coming back to TT. Oh my God, there's so many bugs. So many,
Yeah, I
but
can imagine. I was thinking about that. You've talked about the bugs sometime,
hmm
before, and yeah, I can. What mostly is there like flies
I
or
think the most predominant bug I've had to,
mosquitoes?
that's the one. That's the most predominant bug I've had to fight, mosquitoes. Those
Oh
things,
yeah,
they're vicious. They're everywhere. They bite you. Literally, I
yeah.
was laying down here and I could just hear something humming in my ears as I'm laying down, and I was just like, oh my God, it's a bloody mosquito. It wants to eat me. Like what have I done? So yeah, there are
Hmm.
mosquitoes everywhere, and they seem to like my blood specifically because I'll be around other people, and the mosquitoes will leave them alone, but they'll come for me. They'll be like, "Oh, this guy is delicious. Let's go eat him."
Yeah, but that's interesting. We have talked about before as well. That I
hmm
remember because I am that guy too. Because
Yes.
it must have to do with. I think it might be a combination of the blood group you have,
hmm
but also to some extent how you smell or something. I don't know. They
hmm
I just very much get bitten by mosquitoes during the summer. So if we sit out here by our house eating like a dinner outdoors, I am the mosquito collector. They will be on me, not my wife, not my sons,
Oh, they
but
don't want
yeah,
them. They want
yeah,
us. I wonder,
yeah, yeah.
if we both sat in the same place, who would they eat first? That is a that is a
Maybe none of us because they get so confused with two delicious men, so they can't decide.
they can't
So they
decide.
just okay. It's a no, not today,
It's not
not kind
today.
of moment.
I I
I
think
don't know.
the only other bug that is one other bug that's my missus has mentioned it. Um Flying roaches.
Oh yeah, flying roaches.
Trinidad has flying. Speak of the devil, I'm talking and there's a mosquito just flying in front of me. Um, but yeah, there are flying roaches in Trinidad, and they come from outside of your house. Um, and they attack at night.
Oh.
They they're nocturnal. You don't usually see those things in the day, but at night it's not guaranteed you'll see them.
Mm.
But so like you could go a week or two and you wouldn't see them, but you could get attacked by them, and they're
Wow.
massive.
The
They're
bastards.
they're bastards. And so pretty much everywhere, anywhere you go, you'd find them. More or less they come in from outside of your house. And they just unless of course if you close all the windows in your house, which most people don't because it's warm, you need the air to circulate. So they'll just come in and attack. And yeah, I've had some fights with some. I've bug
Yeah.
spray in hand, slipper in the other, pow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but it's also one thing is the actual bug or the mosquito. I mean, for me, it's like two things. First off, it's a bit better now as an adult, but I've always been like my Achilles heel apparently is the first mosquito bites I
hmm
get.
they
Because every
swell.
like spring, like early summer, the first like 5 to 6, 7 mosquito bites I get, they really like they become big. It's like a reaction
Same.
apparently in my body. Oh yeah, yeah. You see, we've talked about this before. So it looks almost as if
100% the
been
same.
bitten by a bee or it's really weird.
I've got one on my
It
hand right now, right on my forearm. There's one here, and I've got one
mm,
on my leg. So,
yeah. So that's one thing, and then of course the classic one. You go to bed, you're tired, you want to sleep, and then you turn off the light, and then
that was me
where is
last
it?
night.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? You turn on the light, you see nothing, you turn it off again.
It's there
Yeah. Yeah, maybe get some nets for the windows. That's definitely a good thing to do. But even so, even if you have that, I mean, you can they can slip in, you know. But
again.
I gotta also try. Miss A has a tip here when it comes to citronella soap or
Oh,
lime
that
soap,
does
or
work.
actually the combo. That does work, does
It
it?
does. So
Oh,
essentially,
I gotta buy that.
no, I wouldn't say the soap, but more citronella oil. Oh, I feel like I'm scrolling on my foot. Yeah. So citronella oil is I moved the camera. I just realized that by sliding my closing on my laptop, I probably just crotch shot you guys. I do apologize. Um,
Some man spread. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
um, but yeah, citronella oil it actually annoys mosquitoes or something like that. They don't like the smell of it, so it will keep them away. And when I was staying at Karen's, his wife gave me I think it's like a grease or something like petroleum jelly kind of thing, but
Oh,
it was mixed with citronella oil, so I just rubbed it on to my body and it kept the mosquitoes away
okay.
while I had it
Hmm.
on. The only thing is it made me really oily, but
Yeah.
citronella oil
Yeah.
does keep mosquitoes away. Um,
Cool.
so it's a very good option
Mm.
to keep them away. You can usually get the bottle in a pharmacy sometimes, and
Mm.
you can order. I guess in the UK or Europe you can just order it from Amazon, like order a bottle of citronella oil, and you can have citronella products around as well,
Mm-hmm.
and that will usually keep them away because they don't like the scent of it. So like, I think what I would do in the summer if we had mosquitoes in the UK where I lived, so where I live, I would have I would soak some kind of material with the citronella oil and hang it outside wherever I would be sitting or in my office, and that would keep the mosquitoes away from me as well because they would hate the smell of it. But or you can just rub it on your skin. So yeah.
Mm. Okay. That's interesting. It's always good tips. I remember, which I might have said sometime when I grew up, my grandfather, he was like he was uh, he man. He was like really this, like alpha male in a very good side. It was wonderful. It was wonderful, absolutely wonderful man.
Mhm.
But he was a hunter. He was working in the woods.
Mhm.
He was fishing. Yeah, he was all that. So also growing up as my mom did apparently that area is a bit like from the coast because I grew up by the coast, so at least you
Mhm.
have some wind and sometimes less mosquitoes. But when you went to their place, I am not kidding you, you got it looked like a horror movie when it comes to these clouds of mosquitoes and shit. It was absolutely amazing. He had I think he made his own thing, like an
Mhm.
oil that was based on. It was some kind of something you could buy at the store but
Mhm.
then I think it was like oil or something included in that. It smelled horrible, but it really worked because I know the difference from not having it on or sitting out trying to take a coffee or a fika, as we say here in Sweden, and the mosquitoes attack like that. And it's not only mosquitoes; it's also these small. We call them knut, which is
Mm.
like they are super small. And the thing is, they don't like. I mean, apparently the mosquitoes are sucking your blood, right? Like through their sharp, yeah, thing. I don't know
Then
what to say.
the nose thing.
Their nose, literally. Yeah, yeah. But a knut, this small little bastard, I would say, they bite you. You can hardly see them. They bite like a small, take a small piece of you, like from the skin. So they pinch you more or less. It's I hate them. Uh,
I
okay, so
think we have
yeah,
I think we
yeah.
have the same things here as well. And
Yeah, most likely. It's just a name. I'm gonna try to find out the real name because I think Knut might be, yeah, apparently Swedish, apparently, but also it can be a dialect. It could be a thing like that,
I think
and
in
I have
Trinidad
to
we
find
call
it out.
them sour flies. I think that's what they call them in
Mm-hmm.
Trinidad. They call
Okay.
them sour fly because they're
Because again, they're
tiny.
really small. Yeah, they're really tiny.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And they
Mm-hmm.
bite. Yeah, they also swell my skin up. So whenever they bite me, I get really big swellings on my skin. And you usually
Ah.
find those sort of things in the countryside, though. So a lot of the times you go
Mm-hmm.
to the
Yeah, yeah.
countryside, those bastards are there, as you call them,
Yeah.
and
Of course they are.
they're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
waiting for you. And those
Yeah.
ones seem to fly in like a group. They bundle
Mm-hmm.
up and then they're so tiny you don't even see them half the time. But
Mm.
the mosquitoes, man, they're and some of the mosquitoes here, like some of them get so big sometimes, depending on where you happen to be. Some of them are
Mm.
just ginormous. Like I killed one the other day that was sucking my blood, and it was massive. When I smashed it, it was just blood all over my arm. I was like,
Yikes. Yeah.
bloody hell,
Yeah.
it drank a lot of my blood. And you know the thing, I think the an interesting fact about mosquitoes, I believe it's the female ones that drink your blood. You
Yeah, I
know,
think I think that's the case. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because then they're using your blood to make more of their dust, their bastardly cells. So they drink your blood and then they reproduce more mosquitoes.
Mm.
So
That's
it's horrible,
things you don't want to know, but yeah, it's true. It's
absolutely
true. But
horrible.
again, it shows that we are apparently, since we are both getting a lot of those, we are very much attractive
We're delicious people. Let's say
when it comes to
that.
for females. So,
That is
oh
true.
my God, that is true.
We're chick
But
magnets.
yeah,
Mhm.
yep, yep. But mosquitoes aside, my friend, have you been able? I mean, you've been doing so much. Have you been able to do some video gaming?
I did, but I'm not gonna like. All I can say is that I played a few games with my nephews at Karen's, so um, we did some Naruto, and it was more multiplayer games. So we try to find games. I played eFootball, them, one of them. I,
Yeah.
I ultimately like. I didn't go easy on him. I destroyed him 10-0. Could have scored more. It's just
Ay, ay,
like
ay, ay.
I literally I looked at his dad. I was like, should I destroy him? And he's like, yeah. How else are they gonna learn? And I was like, well,
Oh God. Yeah, yeah. That happened.
So, oh my God, it's literally now that we're talking about it, the mosquitoes just flying back and forth in front of my eyes. So yeah, I haven't really played much of anything this week. I will say I did play WWE 2K23 a bit on the Steam Deck and
Hmm.
Trails in the Sky, and I want to say 2K23 is it's irritating. Um, it is irritating. Let's just put it that way. It forces you to unlock certain characters. You have to play the story mode. And it's like the story mode is difficult to get past certain fights. Because you have to complete specific things, and you can't control what your opponent is gonna do. So the AI is gonna do random stuff, and then it's gonna try to pin you before you can complete all the tasks to like win. Um,
Oh,
You're supposed
okay.
because basically you're supposed to be replicating famous fights, but you have this. It's brutal. Like you have to do like
Hmm.
15 tasks throughout the fight, and you have to execute them perfectly. And the AI just keeps trying to pin you, and the AI hits harder than
Wow.
you as well. So it's
Mm-hmm.
so cheap. So like I'll beat the AI to within an inch of its life, and it will still beat me. And I'm just like this is irritating. So I just put it that way. WWE 2K23,
Mm.
um, the Road to whatever it's called, Road to Glory or whatever mode it's called, or the one with John Cena in it. That is horrible. Like
Okay.
horrible. It's the worst thing ever.
Wow.
So uh,
Oh.
I just want to say I have been stuck on the Undertaker fight. Anyone who knows what WWE 2K23, I have been stuck on the Undertaker fight, and anyone who's actually played that fight, I did 14 of the tasks I need to do. I just needed to do 15, and he pinned me. Just if you've been through that game and you've done that mode and you've experienced that, oh, you know what I've been through. You guys know the hell I have
Yeah,
lived.
yeah.
So, if anyone has got
Wow.
tips, I want tips because I do want to like unlock all the characters in that game because I think it would be fun for like, playing with the boys and stuff like that, when we have,
Mm.
because it's a good game to play for, like you can get four people in it on a couch.
Wow.
So, and pretty much anyone can play it to a certain extent. It's not that difficult. Um,
Mm.
so yeah. What about you, Rod? What have you been playing?
Well, as always, I've been playing a bit of this and that, but I did focus a bit on Modern Warfare 3 again when it comes to the multiplayer. And the reason why is also there's the new season or the first season in Modern Warfare 3 started today or yesterday.
Ooh.
But even before that, on Tuesday, I did stream Modern Warfare 3, the multiplayer a bit. I
Mhm.
made a video actually. It's almost like a follow-up with a video when it comes to, I talked about skill-based matchmaking before. And well, I think it goes without saying what that means. It's basically an algorithm, a matchmaking algorithm that is used in certain multiplayer games. Definitely some FPS multiplayer games, and it's also in Call of Duty. Even though the developers don't want to talk about it, they have been working on this for at least Activision for like 10 years, I think.
Mhm.
And it's very controversial. People are having a lot of opinions, and some think it's absolutely horrible because it puts you most of the time, due to some kind of skill meters, together with players that has similar skill or above. So it
Mhm.
becomes very, even though it's a casual game, it become quite sweaty for some at least. But there's also another factor that might come into play when it comes to matchmaking, and it has to do with a lot of online multiplayer game. I know it's supposed to be quite strong in FIFA, for example,
Mhm.
and that is something called EOMM. I have
What is
heard about
that?
this before. Yeah, I've heard about this before, but I haven't really dived into it. But I did, and I talk about it in a video that is now up on my channel. I posted just 2 days ago, or something.
Mhm.
And I talk about it like in general, but also if it's a thing in Call of Duty.
Mhm.
EOMM is engagement optimized matchmaking framework,
Okay.
and it's been a topic for quite some time. I haven't really been, because it's been so much focus on SBMM, skill-based matchmaking. So this has,
Mhm.
been in the shadows a bit. But some viewers and some comments got me to think that, well, I have to look into this.
Mhm.
What it means is that engagement-based matchmaking, EOMM or EBMM,
Mhm.
is a system. It's a system that prioritizes player engagement and retention over other factors,
Mhm.
such as skill level or connection quality.
Right.
And that model is used heavily in popular multiplayer games, including FIFA.
Mhm.
So it kind of, it's interesting because it kind of overrides almost like the SBMM a bit, since it doesn't
Mhm.
really look into like skill factors, but more the player engagement and retention over other factors.
Mhm.
What that means and why it's there, if it's there, because some people say, for example, in Call of Duty, it hasn't been proven that it's there. People believe it's there, but it
Mhm.
hasn't been proven. Some people say that it's just something on the paper that
Mhm.
they were talking about and looking into and developing, but it never got into games.
Mhm.
But most people say yes, it is in these games, and
Mhm.
it's been there for quite some time. The reason why I mentioned this is a thing. If it's there, it can become quite interesting from a
Mhm.
player's perspective, because this has to do with the developers trying to make you play the game as long and as much as possible.
Mhm.
An example would be in Call of Duty. Let's say that I play Call of Duty, I play Modern Warfare 3, and skill-based matchmaking is putting me into this, since I've been doing most of the time quite well in my matches.
Mhm.
I get into really heavy resistance, and I do bad for 2, 3 games in a row.
Mhm.
Then EOMM might kick in because they start to think that I'm at my breaking point, meaning
Yeah.
I'm about to close down the game and
Yeah.
stop playing for the day or maybe for a week
Mhm.
because I rage quit. So EOMM kicks in, and the next match you get into, you get easier opponents.
Mhm.
So what happens? You get more kills, you have more fun. Maybe you win the match, and oh, I'm gonna play another 2 or 3 matches. So you play maybe an hour longer than you thought you would.
Mhm.
That's EOMM for you. And some people say that it goes even further than that. And this is where it gets really dirty if it's true.
Mhm.
It can also, according to these people, what it can do, same scenario. I get in, I have been doing bad, and I get into this lobby with easier opponents. But what also has to do with EOMM, according to some, is that it enhances. Let's say you play on with a controller, it
Mhm.
enhances your aim assist. It
Ooh.
also takes down health regen on other players for you,
Mhm.
things like that. And if this is the case, it becomes really sketchy
Mhm.
and sour, I would say. But it's very, very interesting, I think, because as I say in the video, when you kind of sum things up,
Mhm.
even though the last things I said might not be there, but the whole way that you're getting pushed around in different lobbies in order to, especially also when it comes to EOMM, because especially also as a newbie, because they want you to get into the shop and buy things, right?
Hmm.
It's the microtransactions also.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of a dirty thing just to think about it. And what I say, the conclusion for me was, well, I want to feel that when I play a game, and since I do play a lot of multiplayer shooters, I want to feel that I am in charge. I want to feel
Hmm.
that I can make a difference if I play well,
Hmm.
and that goes for my team, even though it might be randoms as well. But if these kind of factors comes into play, if they are true, if they are there,
Hmm.
then what am I playing for? Are my odds, like chances, you know, worse than just one or two games before?
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
it's so EOMM. If it's there, which is truly or most likely is in some multiplayer games at least, that said, it hasn't been
Hmm.
proven when it comes to Call of Duty. Then it's I don't know. Is this the future of multiplayer gaming overall? Because it's nothing like new. It has been around for some time, and that goes for SBMM as well, as mentioned earlier. But it's so many people are straight out saying that it's ruining the gaming experience. That's
Hmm.
what it's doing in the long run, you know. And some people might don't think about it. They might don't even care, and maybe that's the best place to be honest. But if you have been playing like me, for example, a very long time, I mean, I felt during the stream. I was streaming the game for almost 2.5 hours on Tuesday.
Hmm.
I had a a huge variety of experiences just all these matches I played during these 2.5 hours.
Hmm.
And it was everything from worse, like not on my behalf, but that can be latency or and the servers themselves. But
Hmm.
sometimes you just feel that your shots aren't connecting as they should.
Hmm.
There's also package loss still. That's another thing that has to do with the service and overall performance in the game.
Hmm.
But it's like you start to think that, well, maybe this is true. I don't know. I mean, I can't prove it apparently, but I feel
Hmm.
as an experienced FPS gamer that something is very inconsistent when it comes to the game.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I don't
Hmm.
like that at all. For me, it should be consistent or inconsistent from me as a player. It
Hmm.
should be the same, how to put it, like circumstances and platform that I'm stepping into every time I boot up the game.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I just wanted to share this with you guys. Maybe it's a bit boring to listen to, but it is a thing, and it's in the industries. You know, it's a
Hmm.
way to manipulate certain things, and
I,
I'm not so keen on that, to be honest.
I think it is good to talk about stuff like this because I think especially for people who maybe don't play as many games and they're casual gamers, they get in and
Yeah,
they play a quick game here or a quick game there and so forth. I think it's good to know these sort of things because of the fact that they may not be aware of stuff like this. And for me personally, I have experienced that. Sometimes I get online and I'm playing I get on a night and I'm having match after match of just losing an E, and I'm just like, how? Like it is the worst gameplay. I'm just like and then I'll just have one win, and um I'll feel like, oh, brilliant, or I'll win three in a row, and I'll feel like brilliant, and then I'll end up on a losing streak, and it's the weirdest thing. It's to the point where now if I win three in a row, I'm done for the night. Like I'm just like, yeah, let's
yeah,
even if I'm on a good win streak and I'm like, I still got energy and I'm like, I could do maybe four. I'm not going for that four. Like in my mind, I'm like, that four is probably gonna be a loss, and then I'm gonna be like, okay, let me see if I can win at five. Five is gonna be a loss, and then I'm up all night, trying to just get that win. And I've had nights like that as well, So I think the matchmaking,
mm,
and I know it with eFootball, like I can tell that they're doing it for a certain extent because eFootball shows you the rank of your opponent. I'm telling you, Raj, I've basically been on win streaks, and then all of a sudden I need to, because you go up in divisions and I need to go up to the next division, and all of a sudden the game is giving me people in the top 100 rank. I'm
yeah,
playing matches against number two rank in the game and all this sort of stuff, and I'm like, what is going on here? Like,
Yeah,
I'm literally just one win away to get a promotion, and everyone I have is Div 1, and they're the top 100 rank, and I'm just like, you're kidding me. You're
yeah, yeah.
absolutely
Mm.
kidding me. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can get into a situation also where I hear you, and I believe that can be a case of either skill-based matchmaking or EOMM as described.
Hmm.
However, we also have to be careful because I can see, it's very easy to start to not in this case, but I see like overall it can be a thing. Oh, I did bad. It's SBMM's wrong. It's the
It's
fault,
100% always that for me. I never do bad, honestly. Like, I am just the
And there
best
we
player
go.
at
Yeah, you
everything.
see. Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, whatever. It's but it's interesting topic, and it's good. Yeah, I agree with you. It is good to talk about it, and that's also why I have dived into these things a bit, both when it comes to SBMM and also as mentioned now EOMM.
Hmm.
And yeah. Well, with that said, maybe we should. Time flies, and we are
Let's
going.
talk about some telly. I'm gonna go first,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna let you guys know I've been watching Doctor Stone again. Um, this is an anime series about basically the world, like something happened in the world, and for 5 years, I think it's not 5 years, no, thousands of years have passed. Several millennia, I think.
Mm-hmm.
People were turned into stone. Essentially, something happened. Everyone in the world was turned into stone, and several millennia later, one guy wakes up. Like, he just wakes up in a cave, and or was it in a forest or something? He wakes up and he bursts out and he's alive again. And then he has to figure out, he's the only person alive. He has to figure out what caused him to wake up, and how does he wake up other people like him. And so he does that, but he's a scientist and he's trying to solve all these everything using science, and he's really optimistic. He's a typical shonen, this optimistic way of, like, no one can do wrong, blah blah blah. Like, I'll do this thing and it will work out somehow. Like, he's trying to revive everyone on the planet, including criminals and bad guys. And he's like, well, it's not my job to choose like who lives and who stays as a stone person. I'll bring back
Okay.
everyone. I was like, you idiot. Like, bring back everyone.
Yeah.
Like, leave the bad guys alone and bring back the people who don't commit crimes. It's because, like, there are some people, they are clear, they know this person is bad, and they're like, yeah, we'll bring back this guy. He's a bad cop. He used to do crime. We'll bring this guy back, and so forth. Now, throughout the series, some people have been changing, like they're showing that people can change and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just like, yeah, fam, I'm not doing that. But anyway, I'm in the third season of Doctor Stone. Season three is going amazing. Currently on IMDb, Doctor Stone is ranked at 8.2 out of 10. I have it as a 10. It's a masterpiece. I highly recommend it. So if you're looking for something to watch some Doctor Stone. It is amazing. That's pretty much it.
Cool. Hmm. Good.
Mhm.
Yeah. I have to say, it's interesting. Well, I have a mixed bag when it comes to what I have been watching.
Go for it.
I got to focus on one thing. I just want to mention briefly that I have been watching going back. Or actually, it was Isaac that reminded me that there was this great Batman and also Superman series that was like the animated series that was made like in the 90s, early 90s, 93 or something like that. So we are kind of rewatching and watching those series. Really good. Wonderful music as well. Really well scored, like the big, ambitious stuff going on there.
Mhm.
But that's not really what I want to talk about. Also, I just want to mention since your missus is from Poland initially, I watched a movie with the Swedish actor Joel Kinnaman in English.
She's not
I,
gonna know
I
that
started to
person.
yeah, I started to watch the movie and I was like, wait, have I watched this before? But I think I didn't watch the whole movie because I didn't recognize like from mid to the end. So it was good. It was pretty good. I can't remember the name right now. But
Mhm.
what I wanted to say, he's in like it's in the US, but he's within the like a Polish kind of mafia thing.
Mhm.
And man, they were saying, if I would have counted how many times they said kurva, which is a really bad word in
Kurwa
Polish,
mać.
then I would have been a rich man. That was so. I just want to mention that. But when it comes to Polish and Poland,
Poles love
but
their kurvas, man.
yeah, they
Kurwa.
do. They use it quite a lot. They use it quite a lot, and it can mean a few different things if I got it right. But most of
Mhm.
the time, none. Like,
It means
well,
kurva a lot.
shit is mild. Shit is mild, but it can
It
be worse.
could be like I'll be honest. Because of my missus, when I'm losing
Yeah.
at eFootball, like if I'm online and I'm going through the motions, like I've lost a few, you'll just hear me like "Kurva match," you know. And so
Oh,
it's
okay.
like I'll just be going, it's like yeah. So
Oh, dude.
it
Yeah,
happens.
you have it in you already. Look at that.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
the movie I wanted to talk about is might be a fit also for your missus, maybe
Mhm.
not so much for you. And I say this already now, knowing you since a few years back. It's called Barbarian, and
Mhm.
I found it, you might say, on I think this must have been Amazon Prime. Yeah,
Mhm.
this is a movie made by the producer who produced the It movie about the clown.
Mhm.
You're all gonna float. Yeah, and the newer version was played. They had as the star. It was Bill Skarsgård, one of the younger brothers when it comes to Skarsgård's family,
Mhm.
and he's also in this movie that I didn't know. I
Mhm.
just saw this is interesting horror mystery kind of thriller movie. Let's watch it.
Mhm.
So I started, and it's about this woman that are staying at an Airbnb kind of place, very
Mhm.
weird kind of suburb place, over like abandoned, I would say, in Detroit. And the house she's rented is not what it seems. It becomes weird after some time, quite early on, and it's quite exciting actually.
Mhm.
As you know, I've watched a lot of horror movies through the years, and I enjoyed this one. It's I'm not gonna spoil.
Mhm.
I think the acting is good. I recognize the young lady. She's cute. Her name is Georgina Campbell. She's
Mhm.
playing the girl called Tess. And as mentioned, she meets Bill Skarsgård. His name is Keith here. And since I've watched it, and Bill is like, yeah, it's the clown there. I was like, oh, he's most likely the bad guy here. Don't trust him. Don't trust him. And if that's the case or not, I'm not gonna say here
Mhm.
because you can find out if you watch it. It's also Justin Long is in here. There was some time
Mhm.
I saw him as AJ and so forth, and the list goes on. But this
Mhm.
is a good horror movie, and yeah, we actually both me, Annalie, and Isaac watched it. Yeah, we
Mhm.
were all there, minus Adam, Agent Adam, of course, since he doesn't live at home any longer.
Mhm.
But so Barbarian, if you like horror movies, exciting movies, definitely check it out. It has a 7.0
Mhm.
on IMDb, and that's where I kind of will land as well. I agree with the IMDb rating. This is an
Mm.
over average kind of movie for sure. Definitely, especially also in the horror genre. So
Mhm.
there we go. Barbarian.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I will not be watching this one. But
No, that's what I that's what I thought. Yeah, there we go.
I think that was gonna be a pass for me.
Kurva. Yeah.
Kurva for that one, yes.
Yeah, it means everything. You see, it's
It
very.
means like Polish is a complicated language. Like for the bits that I've learned about it, it's quite a complicated language for the most part. So yeah, um,
Mm.
more or
Oh, you
less.
watch them occasionally. What? Oh, me say, did you watch it? Just curious. Did you watch the movie Barbarian? Hmm. Cool. Yeah.
She may say
Um,
she's not a horror movie fan, but she does watch quite a lot of films that are like that. The only thing is she's also a big coward, so
okay, okay, got it.
so
Mm.
she'll watch that kind of stuff and then she'll be scared to go to bed. So
Yeah, that can be a thing.
yeah,
Oh man, yeah. Well, look at that now. Time flies. I think. What do you say, my friend? Have we been? Are we done, or you want to
pretty
add
much.
things?
I'm gonna have to go fight these mosquitoes next. So um,
Yeah, you need the citronella oil.
yeah, I do need to get some citronella oil there. So
Oil up. Yeah.
I'm basically gonna I'm gonna go back and take a nap. It's 5 o'clock in the morning here, so it's five
Yeah,
twenty one.
exactly. You need some sleep.
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna
just
go
want
back
to
to
fill
bed.
in also when it comes to your missus writing. Yeah, they don't do many scary or horror movies that are worth watching. And I agree with you. It's a lot of jump scare. They overproduce them using jump scares, I would say.
Hmm.
But in this movie, I felt that there was a storyline, and
Hmm.
it was presented in a good way, also with a bit of flashbacks and stuff like that. So it was worth it.
Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, the day has to continue. I can start just by saying, as always, thanks a lot for listening, and especially also live. That's really neat of you. Thank you very much for the support, and hope to talk to you in a week from now. We're getting closer to ho ho and all this stuff,
Hmm.
but we're not there yet. So hopefully talk to you next week, and then I will also let you know how the gig was, the concert on Saturday.
Ooh
With
la
that
la.
said, my friends, yeah, ooh la la, muffin out.
Beautiful as always. So with that, guys, thank you very much for listening to this episode of That Beautiful Life podcast. If you enjoy the podcast, make sure to like it, please, and drop a like on the like button. And if you're watching it live on YouTube or if you're watching it in post, just click that button for me. Give me a nice click, and share it. You know, share the episode with people who you think may find some of our conversations like this one interesting, intriguing, fun. That being said, you can find Raj pretty much everywhere at number 42 with SPL, SPL, He streams on a Tuesday and a Sunday. That's correct.
That is correct.
Mm, beautiful. You can also find me at LP Garden. This garden is also you. You can also find us at Simply Binge or at Simply Binge UK pretty much everywhere else. And as always, we wouldn't like you guys to miss out on any of the beautiful things that we do here on That Beautiful Life podcast. Many beautiful people like subscribe to this podcast on Castbox, Acast, Spotify, iTunes, simplybinge.com, YouTube, and elsewhere. And with the company I gotta like it that we're giving away for free. So as always, guys, this has been queued for your pleasure. It's a wrap. That is
Yep.
the episode. Yeah, I'm going back to bed. Like,
Of course you are. You should.
it's 5 a.m. in the morning. I woke up like I honestly went to bed at midnight, or minutes to midnight, and then I've been awake, and yeah, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed. I woke up, I think at so we start at 4. So I woke
Yeah.
up at 3 a.m. to use the loo, and I just said when I looked at the time, I was like, I've got podcasts in like an hour. I might as well stay awake. So I did. So I stayed awake.
Oh.
So
Oh, dude. Yeah.
so I've had 3 hours
You,
of sleep in me. So I'm gonna go back to sleep. After I get off this call, I'm gonna go turn off my laptop, go back to sleep, um, and chill. And that's gonna be it.
absolutely. Yeah, you need to rest.